Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leader in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Wednesday, May 14th, 2008. Well, guys, what a day today. Whipsaw Wednesday, and it was a very interesting day because for the majority of the day, it didn't seem like a Whipsaw Wednesday. We had the markets up on the day on some good CPI numbers, some good inventory numbers as oil came down. And those of you that remember yesterday, we said if oil comes down, watch the market get a little bit of a bid. And sure enough, that happened, just like InTheMoneyStocks.com called for it to happen. So the market's trending up pretty much all day. We're, up about 330 points on the NASDAQ. We're up about 200 or so on the Dow. And everything's hunky-dory. Well, then 3 o'clock comes, and all of a sudden, the market began to sell in the whipsaw from Whipsaw Wednesday played to a T. The market's got a hard sell in it for an hour of hard selling. The NASDAQ basically closing flat on the day, a 30-point reversal on the NASDAQ in the final hour of trading. The Dow closing only up about 66 points, the S&P up about 5, as there was major reversals across the board. And this is the beauty of it, guys, is that this is what we've been talking about. First of all, we all knew about the oil trade, and that was to be, if oil's coming down, you're going to have the markets trending up, and that's exactly what we saw earlier in the day. But as we know, we've been all talking about what's this expectation of a decline in the markets, and you can see it here happening. All right, this is what's going on in the markets. You see the buying pressure falling apart. You see on volume sell candles, and I'm going to show you all this in the charts. And overall, you see an ugly reversal candle on the daily charts of these every index out there, whether it's oils, OIH, whether it's the NASDAQ, the Qs, you name it, the SPY, ugly reversal topping tail candle here today. And the interesting thing enough, the turn date that InTheMoneyStocks.com called, which was May 2nd, we came up on the SPY and in the markets to that high point, and we closed much below. And the beauty of it is on the NASDAQ, we actually went above it and broke it, and everyone jumped on board, and the bullish sentiment was overflowing today. And then before you knew it, the end of the day came, and wow, we got slammed down, and we closed below it. And on the SPY, we came up, and we just about touched that high on that May 2nd date, which is the high that InTheMoneyStocks.com had called as their first turn date of the 3-day period, and before you knew it, it got slammed down. So we're going to look at the intraday charts here, guys, and go over exactly what happened today. But what a reversal on this Whipsaw Wednesday. And Whipsaw Wednesday is coined by InTheMoneyStocks.com, lived up to its expectation one more time in the last hour of trading, whipping all those bullish sentiment players out of the market and taking their hard-earned money. And again, that's what we saw today, guys. I can't express to you the bullish sentiment that was out there today. Everyone's saying, oh, we're rallying. This is going to continue. Everything looks bullish out there. Not so quick. Whipsaw Wednesday, Options X, the market's toppy. You saw some major reversals on a lot of technology stocks out there, and the biggest reversal of all that I saw was on the OIH, and we're going to look at that as well. So let's get into these charts, folks. Okay, we're going to start off with the 10-minute ES chart, as we always do, and we're looking at the June '08 contract. And you can see here, this is where the CPI data came out, showing it was, believe it or not, it was borderline unbelievable. And again, you guys know at InTheMoneyStocks.com, we're not a follower. We question everything, and we always have to question some of these economic numbers that are published by the government as being, well, yeah, okay, that seems, they say that's what it is. I guess we'll believe it, but we should always keep our wits about us and let the charts tell the truth. And that's why we talk about avoiding Wall Street hype and hype from every angle, because the charts will tell you really what's going to go on. And regardless of what economic data says, regardless of what earnings say, the charts tell you whether or not the stock will go up or down before that even happens. So here we saw a nice rally as amateurs jumped on board the CPI data. You saw a little bit of a bull flag pattern, by the way. Great example of a bull flag here. And right at the open here, about 9:30, you saw another move up in the markets. And we kind of just trended up here. And look at this trend here. Beautiful little trending market up. Look at the parallel lines. I mean, you don't get a better trend than that. Up, sideways to down, up again, down, up. And then look at this topping tail here, guys. Look at this topping tail. You closed in the lower areas of the candle, and that was all she wrote. And right here, you kind of trended sideways. And right here where we broke the 20 moving average is where the selling pressure came in. All right, so we trended sideways to slightly down, and as of now, people are saying, well, all the amateurs are saying, wow, this is a nice little pullback, gentle bull flag probability here for another blast up. And then all of a sudden, volume came in, and they got smacked. And look at this fall here at the close, dropping hard into the close here, all the way cutting through the 20, the 50 moving average, all the way to the 200 moving average. And again, we always talk about volume as being an indicator. Today, volume was so light until 3 o'clock, and then volume kicked in. And look at this volume. Look at the red candles here. Look at this volume down here. Unbelievable volume. You saw a little bit of that volume at the open when you have the majority of the volume and the first couple candles, but look at how quickly it died out here. And then again, come late day sell-off period, bam, volume increases, major institutional selling, and sure enough, the market sold off hardcore. So again, let's take a look at some of these SPY charts on the daily. I'm going to look at the OIH as well. Here is the SPY daily, and sure enough, we had that nice downtrend right into the 20 moving average. You got the little bounce here, but look at that candle on today. And notice here how we talked about the top on May 2nd as being what InTheMoneyStocks.com had called as a turn date in the markets. So far, that has held up. And sure enough, you tested it today, and you got a major sell volume spike to the downside as soon as you got close to that high from May 2nd. So sure enough, now we're going to have to watch very closely. It was a very hard sell. The question is, do we get a little bit of a bounce tomorrow after this mega reversal, or do we see some more sell side? It is still options X week, so it could go either way. You don't know which way. Did they fool all the, did they strip all the longs out of the market today, so meaning that a lot of shorts jumped on board? And does that mean that you're going to have a reversal tomorrow and get a little move higher? Or are there too many bulls still on board and they have to close these calls out of the money so they expire worthless? And does that mean we're going to see more downside? Any way you cut it, over the month of May, we're still expecting a nice move down. And probably in this area here, as we continue, once we break this 20, we'll be able to tell you guys a little better to where we expect the next level to go in this market. All right? So that is the SPY chart. Now let's look at the NASDAQ daily, and I'm going to also look at the Qs daily and so forth. So again, here's the high from May 2nd. All right, we'll draw that line straight across. We got above, we touched that 200 moving average, and now you have a topping tail in the NASDAQ and a close below the high from May 2nd, which is going to be very interesting to watch. The reversals in some of these technology stocks were astounding today, and I'm going to go over them as well. But let's also keep it in perspective. In all fairness, the market did close flat to slightly higher. The Dow was still up 66 points. The NASDAQ was still up 1.5, and the S&P was still up about 5 points. It was just a major reversal from where we were earlier in the day. And again, you guys know, the InTheMoneyStocks.com called a top on oil last Friday, around 102. And sure enough, that was on the USO, and that was when oil was trading about 126 plus. Now oil as of today is in the 123s, and we'll flip to the USO chart and show you guys that. So again, here's the top on oil when we called it right up here. And so far you're seeing the choppy trading, and as soon as the low here breaks, which could be as soon as tomorrow or next week, watch for oil to come down to this 20 moving average and then possibly go lower, although it should have a little support at that 20 on the USO chart. All right, now let's take a look at the OIH, because this is the unbelievable chart here. Look at this sell-off late in the day. So here we go. OIH initially started, and this is the oil services holders, and the OIH initially started down here a little bit and then started to rally. And you got a nice little boost up here, a little in spirit of head and shoulder pattern right here, but it's kind of sloppy, so it's tough to make out. But nonetheless, all of a sudden, look at the selling and look at the drop in the OIH. And look at the volume increase right here. People just dumping out the window. You had good support here on the OIH on the intraday, and it barely blinked an eye. You cut right through it. Now, in all fairness, this chart tells me on the intraday level that you're probably going to get a near-term small bounce in it, which could be could be after hours here or tomorrow early in the morning. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. When these things fall apart and we've expected oil to dump out here, it's going to dump hard and fast. So again, our call on the USO, and we also like the DUG, D-U-G, which is 2 times short oil and gas plays. Look at the rally here in the DUG late in the day. Tremendous rally. Notice where it went to. On the intraday, this is the intraday DUG, it went right to that 200 intraday moving average, and you had a little tail there. So that again tells me that this is resistance right up here on the DUG, and you might want to see some consolidation like this before another possible breakup. All right. Nonetheless, we do like the DUG and the short on the USO. And again, just to look at the USO, as it's in that topping range ever since our call from last Friday of a top on the USO or on oil. So we'll continue to monitor that. All right. Also, I want to just note this. See this choppy trade up here where we've been going sideways from the top on oil? Here's the top we called. Look at the volume. That's telling me when I'm seeing that much volume and it's going sideways, that it's an exchange between amateurs and pros where they're unloading there. The pros are unloading to the amateurs, as always happens before a big fall. Obviously, the amateurs, which are the bullish characters in the market, the bullish players, they're the ones taking it off the hands of the institutions before the drop. So just a tremendous move today. And again, yesterday we talked about the GLD, and we talked again about how that was very likely going to come down in this area. Again, you saw oil trading, gold trading down a few dollars today. Gold continues to be very, very weak. The GLD was down again today, and again the U.S. dollar has been strengthening, and we had called for that to happen over the course of a few days. Actually, about 2 weeks ago to 3 weeks ago, we had called for that, and sure enough, you can see this is the UUP on the daily, which is the dollar index, and you can see you've had a nice move up here, and it was up another 3 cents today off the lows from down here. So a very nice day. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Enough of me today. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.